Hi, my name is Joseph Plooy and I teach a Year 5-6 class. In Digital 1, I have explained how the following student needs have been identified. My students need to develop the ability to work with others, to wonder and ask questions, and stay on task. I have used the integrated task I've designed in Digital 1, but made some changes, and I'm referring to these and the reasons for them throughout the video. The task I developed required students to work collaboratively using two Google tools, namely Google Maps and Google Tour Builder. I've decided on these two tools because most of my students did not know of or have not used Tour Builder before. For this task, I needed to use a tool that was new to my students, as they would have a greater chance to work together when their lack of knowledge of the tool is more or less the same. Most students were familiar with Google Maps, but I hope that sharing at least one unfamiliar piece of core knowledge would get my students to collaborate. Johnson & Johnson states that knowledge independence creates a special form of positive social independence, which has positive motivational effects. Added to this, Kuja and Ajaz suggest that there is a strong correlation between locus of control and academic achievement. So I wanted to shift the locus of control to the students to improve their motivation. Therefore, I have provided less support than usual, hoping that this will help motivate my students to apply themselves more, which will lead to them being more on task. Students had only two instructions when they formed their groups. They needed to form groups with people they have not worked before or have not worked with recently, and they had to work out their group roles before they started. I added these requirements to get them talking to each other and to make substantive decisions together. The responses to questions 6 and 8 of the survey suggest that establishing interdependent knowledge and shifting the locus of control seemed to work well for most students, as over 70% felt that they could not have done the task better by themselves, and 88.2% felt that working with a partner or in a group helped them. Question 9 asks for their reasons, and these are some of them. Because you share ideas, and if you get stuck, the other person would hopefully know. Because if you don't know what to do, you ask your teammate, and they help you. Of course, we can help each other. The task did not suit everyone though, as shown on the previous slide, as 11.8% of students felt that they would have worked better by themselves. These were some of their answers. Some people thought other roles were more important than theirs. People were being silly. Some people wanted to be the same team roles. Now the survey also confirmed that the task did not suit everyone, as nearly a quarter of students felt that they would have done the task better by themselves. These were their responses. No, because I would have done it by myself, and that would have been easier. Because I can do it all by myself. The task does ask for knowledge to be constructed, and it seems that most of my students benefited from socially constructed knowledge, as argued by Vygotsky, when he said that learning is a social and collaborative activity, where people create meaning through their interactions with one another. How much structure is enough? I struggled with this question because I am still learning how to shift the locus of control to the students. I started to feel less confident that my students could complete the task a few days before I actually shared it with them, because I realized that the majority of them will be lost without some guidance. This was because I'm aware of the large number of students I'm teaching this year that find it hard to work independently, and I expected them to struggle. So I added these suggested times to help them stay on track. This proved to be not needed, as the guide was only used as intended during the first session where I used it. Because teams worked at different rates, they were at different points when we started the next session, so I couldn't use the time again. Neither did the students. I also added this checklist afterwards because I felt like I was throwing them into the deep end. All but two groups used the checklist, so this was useful. I needed to give them more autonomy to really shift the locus of control, but I found it hard to let go of the control. To me, this is similar to teaching a child to ride a bike and being too scared to let go so that he or she can actually write by him or herself. Further reading helped me to find mixed messages on how much structure is enough. Murdoch and Wilson state that students need explicit teaching about effective collaboration and conflict resolution. Murray Harvey et al. Suggests the same by saying that students need prompts to explicitly think about group processes. Burns et al. Also suggested the use of clear assessment criteria with regards to the group activity. Now, we use assessment criteria all the time, but I didn't use it for this task as I deliberately tried to be less structured. In my view, these messages are quite different from the views presented by Peterson, who state that an ill-structured, authentic and relevant problem is just a catalyst to make individuals come together. The ITL rubric presents a similar view by stating that students must plan the process of their work. To me, these two views mean that teachers should give minimal guidance and then provide enough time for students to get on with the task. With the different messages regarding the amount of support teachers should give, this is something that I need to clarify. These are examples of the roles the students decided on without my input. And these are the explanations of two of the groups. The work the students produced, combined with the fact that most responses indicate equal input from group members, supports my conclusion that students have had the opportunity to collaborate and most made use of the opportunity because they have worked in groups to create a product. Most students have shared the responsibility, going by the students' responses to question 10, 11 and 12, which shows that they all feel that they have contributed. Students made substantive decisions together when they decided on their roles in the group and when making decisions on what to include in the explanation and how they will present it. Their work were also interdependent as the explanation on how the tools could be used to plan a holiday is coherent and survey responses indicate good contributions by most group members. All things considered, I feel that the students and I have learned a lot and can only build on this experience.